Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice. This is episode 3. Episode 3, Pete. Super excited. Fixed the levels a little bit. Turned up the volume. Sorry if the first one's a little quiet and the song's really, really loud. The garage band that I used to know is not the garage band I use today. The garage band I used to know was simple. And for simpletons, perhaps. For me. But this new one is an overcomplicated mess, and I haven't quite figured out all its kinks yet. So, bear with me. This is the third podcast. There's 31 days in January. Over the next 28 days. Yeesh. It's a lot of podcasts. Yeah, bear with me. By the end, I'll be a wizard at this thing. So, yesterday, I left off with the podcast starting. 2018 being a hard year. Yeah, really hard year. The worst days of my life. The 2 worst days of my life were in 2018. But it was also the best year of my life. And to tell that story, and I'm about to tell that story, I need to go all the way back to 2016 and start with a girl. Girl's going to be renamed Nameless. But we met at work at Standard. I was very infatuated with her, almost right off the cuff. Cool. I've been practicing this all fucking day, but we're gonna see how it goes. So we flirt. I'm a big flirt. We flirt a lot up until November, and in November we we started hanging out a little bit more, and then by, I think, like December 13th, we're dating. And by December, 20th, I dropped the big L word. The big old LOVE word. The I love you. Which is a cute story, but I'm not going to share it. So, yeesh. Right. We work together. We're hanging out all the time. It's 2017. We're making plans. We're seeing the future. We decide to take a big road trip across the United States in August. We're going to go for the whole month. We're going to drive to Vancouver, do some stuff in Vancouver, drive back, and on the way, stop at all these national parks and see the world. Well, see the United States and all its incumbent beauty. And it was an amazing trip. We worked our asses off, saved up money. Went to places like Voyager National Park, North Cascades, Lake Diablo, Yosemite, Yellowstone, LA, San Francisco, Vancouver. Drove across the Mackinac Bridge. It was so cool. It was a great trip. Before the trip, I have an idea for a podcast called What to Do When You're 22. Before the trip, I didn't really feel like I was capable. I didn't really feel like I had anything to say. I also was saving money, so I didn't have any money to buy equipment. But once I got back, I felt like that had changed. I felt like, okay, I've talked for nonstop for a month in the car with this girl. I think I can talk on the radio for a little bit. So I think we got back August 28th. We left July 28th, my birthday. Yeah, and we get back August 28th. And we decide we're going to live together. In a 1-bedroom on campus. Cute little crib. Loved it. And now I have a place to do it. I have a studio, a nice living room, a nice quiet dog that I miss still. Zoe. Shout out to Zoe. And it kind of foreshadows the fact that me and the girl broke up. But we'll get there. So I start the podcast, What to Do When You're 22. And it's okay. It's pretty good. I'm happy with how it turned out, the 12 episodes. I do about 1 episode a week, right? And I did 12 episodes. So I go from September 20th, I think. I finally got my stuff together. I had an intro song. I had a producer that I sent it to. It was like $60 an hour, which is like $1 a minute, which is pretty expensive. And I pay to have it on iTunes. I do all the things I need to do. Production value's there. The guests are there. I use it as an opportunity to invite people who I don't really know, or who I wanted to know better at the time. People such as Justin Paul Villanueva, one of my best friends now, Miko Cordero, who I work with currently, and who's a good friend of mine, and then Niall Woodson, who I also work with now, and is also a good friend of mine. And so just that alone was such a value to meet those three individuals, and have them on my podcast. I was really excited to do that. And then, the holidays come, so I'm like, I'll take a little break. Work is getting slower, so I don't have as much money, so I'm maybe thinking like once every 2 weeks. And then the new year hits, me and the girl start feeling a little shaky. Things are getting a little tense. That was in January, and then by February, we decide it's probably best. Well, she decides it's probably best we don't see each other anymore. And yeah, she got off a double on like a Saturday night. Walks in at around like 2 a.m. I waited up for her, and we break up. She breaks up with me. And it was weird at first because we still lived together. And it was definitely an interesting experience living with somebody who, you know what I mean? So I would take turns sleeping on the couch. She'd sleep on the couch. Some nights I wouldn't come home. Some nights she wouldn't come home. Terribly upsetting nights those were. Getting a little sentimental, which is surprising. I thought I'd be better at that part. So, but it's honest, you know what I mean? It was a tough little breakup. So, brings me to the hardest day. First hardest day, 2018. It took her about a month to get her to find a new place to live and to move out. But she moved out in one day. It was a Saturday. I get off of work. I go to work at 9:30. I'm working a double. I get home at 1 a.m. 9:30 in the morning, 1 a.m. at night. Everything's gone. The whole apartment is barren. She owned everything. I owned the bed, the coffee table, a bowl, 2 mugs, and like my shampoo, and that was it. Most of the food was hers. There was like a can of Jif or a jar of Jif and like eggs, some of my spices, whatever. But the pots, the pans, the TVs, all of it, all hers. And that's fine. I'm like, at least I have a bed. I have my computer. I can watch something. I actually turned on a podcast, funny enough, a comedy podcast, because I thought a little laughter would be nice. And I fall asleep. And then at 4 o'clock, I woke up violently ill. I'm puking. It's coming out both ends, firing hard cylinders. And I am just up and down from 4 o'clock till about 9 o'clock when Target opens. And I decide, okay, I can do this. I'm going to wobble to my car. I'm going to skirt on over to Target. I'm going to buy a can of soup, a bowl, a pot, and some Gatorade. I'm gonna get this done. Buy a couple meds. I got this. I can do this. I do just that. I drive to Target, don't puke, zombie my way through, skirt on out, throw up on my way back on the Olentangy, which is neither here nor there. And I get home, throw the soup on, throw it in a bowl, realize I don't have a fork or a spoon to eat it with. So I decide to eat it with chopsticks in my bed, laying down. And it's hard to eat chicken noodle soup with chopsticks, and it's even harder to eat it lying down. And it was a bleak moment. It was dark in the mind of Jacob Zobrist. It was tough. Tough to say the least. But, I persevered. I went, I saved a little cash from, 3 days of work. Went and bought some pots. Went and bought some silverware. Bought more food. Bought some soup. Got a couple different jobs. I got, that whole, first 6 months of, the whole first 6 months of 2017. No, it was 2018 at that point, because it was February. So it was that whole first 6 months, I worked at Grandview Cafe, Hadley's, Orange Theory, David's Tea, third in Hollywood. So I had 5 jobs in the first 6 months of 2018, which is freaking exhausting. But so the money, it's here nor there, and I had re-signed my lease, expecting, who knows what I was expecting, but they wanted me to re-sign. I decided to re-sign. Luckily, I was able to get out of it, though, and be able to move in with some friends in Clintonville, which is where I am now, in my room, recording this podcast. And I moved in, I think, in the start of July, did a big clean house, had a big birthday party, July 28th. All my friends came, my parents came down, my brother came. It was a hoot. And me and Justin from the podcast kept hanging out throughout the time, through the breakup. He even made me like a "You Can Do It" breakup video, which I've never shown anybody, but it's very heartwarming. Miko Credero wants to start some kind of like media thing, which will later become Presco Labs, but he wants a podcasting branch of it. So he reaches out to me again and says, hey, let's start working together, and we're trying to figure it out. And then Niall is just an excellent character, and he's running around, and it's just nice to kind of, see new people, meet new people, and further those relationships that I got to start from the podcast. And things are looking up. I'm going to the gym very consistently at that time to help get through the breakup. I'm wearing man prees during the summer, which is where you roll up your jeans to capri level. Man prees. I'm slicking back my hair, feeling like hot shit. Shave my goatee, looking clean. Feeling better, feeling real good. And then around August 14th, everything's smooth. Trouble hits again, right? My dad, who had been sober 5 years after, sober for his first 5 years, had fallen off the wagon, which was pretty sad. And it was real bad this time, like real bad. Work was causing him a lot of stress. He was in hotels traveling a lot, and he has a form of, I don't want to say it's hepatitis, but if he drinks, his body gets like 2 beers and his body will get very hungover, and he'll throw up violently for like hours the next day. And this has gotten worse and worse as he's gotten, older and older and kept drinking. The 5 years recover, whatever. So he has to go to, he checks himself in to the hospital, to rehab. And on the day he checks himself in, 3 days before that, one of my aunts passed away, which was super sad. So my mom's freaking out. My dad is in the hospital, and I'm working like doubles every day. And I get somebody to, I'm like, I gotta go home. I gotta go to Cleveland. That's the conclusion I got to on the day of her funeral. I gotta go. I gotta go see my dad. I gotta go help my mom. Gotta be there for the fam. So, yeah, it was rough. I get everything covered. I get all my shifts covered for the day of the funeral. Storming out of the house, trying to get out before 10 so I can get home and make it to everything that I need to make it to. And my neighbor, who I've never met before, as I'm leaving the house, she's hard charging towards me. And she's like, I need your help. And I'm like, yeah, what do you need? And she's like, I think my dog, my daughter's dog is dying in my backyard. I need you to help me get it in the van. Get it in my van so I can take it to the vet. And I look at her, and she's at her wit's end, and I can tell she's just as fried as I am. So I say, sure, I'll help you. We hop in her car. We drive around the alley to get in the backyard. And she looks at me when she stops the car, and she goes, what's your name? I go, Jacob. She goes, Jacob, I'm Sharon. Thank you. The dog might be dead. And I go, Sharon, I don't know if I can help you carry a dead dog. I've never seen a dead dog before. And I don't know if I can handle that right now. And she goes, I totally understand. I get out of the car. I turn. It's a minivan. I turn around. I get to the end of the minivan. The dog is just so expired in the backyard. The tongue's out of his head. It's a big dog. It's a scene, to say the least. Sorry if I'm bumming out any dog lovers, but its stomach had turned. She gets like a towel so that we can move the dog, like a harness, and we throw it in the car. She says, thank you, I'm sorry. I go, it's totally okay. I'll walk back to my car. Good luck. Yeah, and that was at like 10 a.m. So I get in the car. I drive right to the hospital in Cleveland, where my dad is. And I think it was like a Sunday night or a Saturday night, so nobody's there at the hospital. And it's a dark, grimy, sad hospital. And grimy's not a good term. Just hospitals give me the heebie-jeebies. I think they give everybody the heebie-jeebies. I don't know. But nobody's there. So I'm wondering, like, literally there's a guy who scans my ID at the front, and then I can't find a single fucking soul to get me to where I need to find what floor my dad's on. So I'm wandering around, getting lost. Takes me like 45 minutes to actually find another doctor. And, hold on, I gotta make sure my stuff's still going here. Perfect. So I find a doctor. He points me in the right direction. I'm in like the alcohol rehab facility area. I gotta like get searched. They gotta take all my shit. Phone, wallet, keys, all that. And I wait for my dad to come out of his room. He's all high on like lithium and shit and drugs, and he's all like wobbly and feeble looking. He's got like a scruffy beard. It was a sight out of a movie or something. And we sit in like the visiting room. There's guys in a cast. There's like two guys in casts with one guy had fallen out of a window drunk. The other guy had been blacked out for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. He's been blacked out, and he didn't know he was walking around on broken legs, which is just crazy. And we're talking. We're just trying to be nice. And just, yeah, it was really, it was a lot. And then I immediately got in the car and drove to the funeral. Big bummer there. But still, my family does pretty well with funerals and stuff because we're all pretty funny and love each other and shit. So it's hugs, it's laughs, it's tears, but mostly laughs, mostly remembering the good things, not the bad, hanging out. And yeah, that sucked too. So those are the two hardest days of my young adult life thus far. One was like kind of like a rock bottom for me. The other one was just like life's tough sometimes and throws shit at you. But the silver lining, right? The beauty of it all. So that was in August that all happened. And then I get home, I get back to Columbus, and I really just take like value in the fact that all these people around me that I love so much and care about, they're all here. They're all amazing. I've made such great friends. And I start getting really appreciative, and I start a job at 3rd and Hollywood, which was awesome. It is awesome. I still work there. It's a great serving job. My money problems go away. My rent's lower. Things are looking up. Miko comes back to me and he's like, hey, I'm starting this thing called Presco. Would love for you to be on the team. Justin's on the team. So I'm working hand in hand with my best friend and a guy who I enjoy quite a bit. My friend Brian comes back from Europe, which is a huge win. He was gone all summer, which was a drag. He's back. Things are looking up. I get the opportunity to meet more cool people, to start this awesome podcast, and have like a platform to do it on with Presco, powered by Presco. What else? I don't know. It became the best year of my life. Like literally those 2 days were really hard. The breakup sucked. Slow, like some of the few times I saw her outside of the fucking whatever in public, that sucked too. But other than that, it was laughs and tears and good times. I even got a tattoo that says Amor Fati, which means love fate. Because as I was driving to Cleveland, One of my buddies called me. We had good laughs. I just realized that, like, whenever you're feeling bad or whenever bad things are happening, it's paving the way for feeling good. Because I don't want to sound bipolar, but, like, the swings of life, the hard moments, the failures, like I totally bombed Halloween again. I bombed a couple times in the last story too. I was trying to do this photo booth thing to make a little bit extra money. I worked late. Photo booth didn't work. Photo booth died. Everybody looks at me disappointed. I totally ruined a potential client that we could have had for, for as long as we didn't screw up, but I screwed it up day one. I don't know. It was just the first time I really was, It was literally bipolar swings. I was so down, but I was so up at the same time. It was really an amazing year. I'm getting kind of rambly. It was hard to tell those stories and then to have to put them on out for y'all. But I'm happy I did it. It was fun, getting honest, sharing real moments that I've had. I don't really know where to take the podcast now in this episode. I don't know if I've done a good job of highlighting. I don't want it to sound like I was spinning the world's smallest violin. You know what I mean? I don't want there to be a pity party. You've all gone through things. We've all gone through things. We'll all go on through more things. You know what I mean? Life is a highway, and I want to ride it all night long. Shouldn't have said that. That's funny though. I like that. Where to go from here? I got nothing. So I'm going to leave it there. I don't know if I can't describe the amount of love and affection I have for just people in my life and that life itself. And I really got to put that to the test. I think that's what it was, is that all my values were kind of challenged by all these hard things. And I got over them. Life moved on and got better. And I really could not be happier. I rang in the 2019 the happiest I've been ever the happiest I've ever been. I put my 2 feet on the ground January 1st. I was not hungover, which was great. Because I had to work I would have been wasted had I not had to work the night before. But yeah, I'm getting a little rambly. I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for listening. I love you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Can't wait to have a guest on. 2019, baby. It's our year. Just go there together, right?
I'm not always right. I'm only trying to be nice with my unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice.